Hey, how's it going guys? It's Nate here. And it is now December of 2017, so Merry Christmas to you, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, maybe you worship the devil, whatever it is you're into, I hope you're having a good time. But with 2017 rapidly winding to a close, I wanted to take a step back for a minute and take a look at what we can expect to see out of 2018, particularly out of Skyrim's modding community. With a large variety of projects planned for release, it looks like 2018 is going to be a pretty big year for modding in general. So without further ado, here are 5 DLC-sized mods hitting Skyrim in 2018. Starting off, we have Lordbound. This mod will introduce the Druidak Valley, a mountainous region between Skyrim and High Rock that's currently engulfed in a war between the Imperials and some various native tribal orcs, and offer over 30 hours of additional content according to its developers. Lordbound will feature a variety of side quests and missions. However, the mod has 3 main factions that it centers around with their own quest lines. The native orcs who are fighting to defend their homeland, the Imperials who are doing the exact opposite of that and trying to invade the orcs' homeland, and a local human lord, who seemingly isn't fond of either factions and wants to do something of his own. Depending on which side the Dragonborn chooses, there are going to be some pretty dramatic consequences for the Druidak Valley going forward. Furthermore, I found Lordbound's soundtrack to be especially impressive. Most mods like these have their own soundtracks, however I really liked Lordbound's. Lordbound has been in development for about 3 years, and was originally scheduled for a Q4 of 2017 release. However, the mod team barely missed that, and the mod will now likely be out sometime in the first half of 2018. Next on our list is a mod called Apotheosis. Now I've covered this mod in a video of its own, but Apotheosis is setting out to allow the player to explore all 16 planes of Oblivion, and then quite a bit more. The total playable area added by this mod is set to rival that of Skyrim's itself, and Apotheosis is definitely setting out to distinguish itself compared to other projects. Taking much inspiration from Dark Souls, Apotheosis seems to really want to scare the player, and use elements of psychological horror, something we rarely think of when Skyrim pops into our heads. On top of that, Apotheosis is also radically overhauling Skyrim's combat and enemy systems, to create engagements that seem more skill-based than ever, while also depending on large, unique, challenging boss fights, a staple of the Dark Souls franchise. Some of the enemies we've seen in the trailers look particularly horrifying. After nearly 5 years of development, Apotheosis will be hitting ModDB and the Nexus sometime in 2018. Third is Beyond Skyrim Exhibition to Atmora. This mod's release date is a little less solid than most, as the mod doesn't actually have a confirmed date it's releasing, just a goal that the mod team has established of hopefully getting it out before 2019. For those of you who don't know, the Beyond Skyrim team recently released Beyond Skyrim Bruma, to quite a bit of success and praise, and their next release will be taking us to Atmora. Atmora, for those of you who don't read Elder Scrolls books all day, is the icy continent located north of Tamriel, where according to legend, all humans once descended from and the first civilizations began. Thousands of years prior to the events of Skyrim, Atmora was a normal temperatured piece of dry land, not very different from Tamriel. However, something eventually happened that caused the continent to freeze up, and those who remained there all likely died, as the continent evolved into a barren, desolate wasteland. What this means for the mod is that the player isn't going to be entering massive cities and joining guilds full of life. Instead, you'll find a land filled with ancient ruins, primitive societies, and harsh tundras. As a result, Beyond Skyrim Atmora's main storyline will be playing a pretty decisive factor. It's linked to Skyrim's own primary questline as well, though the modders haven't elaborated on that connection too much, only promising that there will be several branching choices for the player to make, and their effects will linger with you throughout the rest of your game. Beyond Skyrim Exhibition to Atmora is a mod I am certainly excited to see, especially considering the reputation that Beyond Skyrim has built for itself after the release of Bruma. The modders are hopeful of hitting a 2018 release date, though again, aren't making any promises, though the project will soon be recruiting voice actors, which is a good sign it is nearing completion. And for our 4th spot, there is Skyrim Together. Another mod that I've covered on this channel before, Skyrim Together seeks to turn Skyrim into an untethered multiplayer experience. The mod is being designed for anywhere between 2 and all the way up to a whopping 8 players to gather and tackle Skyrim together, though technically the mod will support up to 64 players in a single session, though it's only being optimized with up to 8 people in mind. Skyrim Together is doing everything you'd really hope for out of a multiplayer Skyrim mode. It's allowing different players to be in the same world across the map from each other, even in different cells. So in theory, someone could be clearing a dungeon near Windhelm, while another player is bartering in Whiterun's markets. There have been other mods that have tried to capture multiplayer in Skyrim before, though none of those efforts have seemed to have had as much success as Skyrim Together. which has managed to overcome many of the hurdles that restricted previous attempts at multiplayer Skyrim, particularly in regards to world state synchronization, and ensuring on one player screen it's not evening while on another's it's morning, or one player isn't seeing an enemy in a different position as another. This has been the biggest obstacle for Skyrim multiplayer mods. However, Skyrim Together seems to have nailed it just fine. The Skyrim Together mod team has a to-do list on their official subreddit, which will be linked in the description down below. For the most part, they're on the brink of completion, and so long as there are no major surprises, a 2018 release is looking fairly secure. And finally, last on today's list is a mod called Cantiligo, a project trying to create a new, massive, and somewhat realistic feeling city and the surrounding area. The mod author has stated that the city of Cantiligo will be 5 times the size of Whiterun, have hundreds of NPCs inhabiting it, and contain 7 distinct districts, each with their own feel. Cantiligo is based upon Renaissance Florence, so the culture you see around it will reflect as such, with many Italian-like attributes. Furthermore, the mod is coming with its own main questline, in which you can choose to align yourself with one of 5 powerful families, each jockeying for power over the city. Additionally, if you're looking for more to do, there are 3 guilds that'll be available for the player to join. The Mercenaries Guild, which fights in wars, for a price, the Holy Church, a religious authority that's trying to stomp out heresy, and the Lawyers Guild, which basically solves crimes and plays detective. Obviously, Cantiligo isn't being set in the universe of the Elder Scrolls, like all of these other mods are, but instead one of its own. The mod author is simply using Skyrim as the engine to build his project on. Development of Cantiligo began well over a year ago, and its author has a long history with working with city overhauls, so hopes are pretty high for this one. Like so many others on this list, there is no certain release date for Cantiligo just yet, only the expectation that it will be released sometime in 2018. But with that last mod, we are going to wrap up. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Please do keep in mind, while all of these mods are expected to release in 2018, we can't be 100% sure that all of them will. This is because sometimes mod teams and developers run into some unexpected hurdles that delay them by quite a bit. So while it's very possible we can see all of these mods coming out in the first half of 2018, it's also possible that we won't see any of them come out in 2018, though I wouldn't go that far. So with those cautionary messages out of the way, which of these was your favorite, and what mods are you excited to see out of 2018 for yourself? Leave a comment down below. Again, thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everyone.